Yo, we freaking did it, yo. We made it to Amazon. I got an offer from Amazon Web Services, which is the cloud division, but FANG, baby, we freaking made it to FANG. And as a self-taught cloud engineer. For those who don't know what FANG is, FANG stands for F for Facebook, A for Apple, the other A is for Amazon, and am I spelling this correctly? And the N is for Netflix, and G is for Google. Obviously, you guys have heard the names of these organizations. These are the biggest tech organizations in the freaking world. And I'm telling you, I could not have made it this far with a lot of people who has been part of this journey. And a lot of them have been Amazonians, people who work at Amazon that's helped me get to this position. And it's crazy because my first organization was a startup with only about 12 employees. And then my second organization had about 300 employees. And now Amazon, moving from 300, like, do y'all know how much employees Amazon has? It's like 1 point something million. Like, let me check this out. So I just searched largest companies in the world by employees. I like this post here. So we see, boom, only second to Walmart. We see Amazon with 1.5 million employees in the freaking world. And this is so crazy because where I'm from is Turks and Caicos Islands, and we only have about 60,000 people as our population. So working for an organization with 1.5 million employees is insane. And then let's see where they rank when it comes to market cap. Market cap has to do with what they're valued as in terms of dollars, right? So I have it also here, market cap. We see Amazon is ranked number 5 in the world. We got Apple, NVIDIA, oh, everybody knows NVIDIA, going crazy right now. Microsoft, Google, Amazon. Now, switching from this chart and talking about being a self-taught cloud engineer, I remember for about 6 to 7 months trying to figure out where I fit in this big thing called tech. And it wasn't until I took the AWS certified cloud practitioner certification is when I got introduced to this thing called cloud and AWS at the same time. And then when I passed it was when I made the fundamental and critical and crucial statement and decision that I want to become a cloud engineer. This is what I want to do for the rest of my future. And I just remember going all in, taking more certifications on AWS, doing more projects, reading articles, just diving deep into what is this thing called cloud, right? And it was being driven by my passion for this thing called AWS. And I remember just thinking, like, how crazy would it be to actually work for the organization that created the thing that I'm passionate about, this thing that I keep talking about on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Like, I live and breathe this thing called AWS and cloud. How crazy would it be to work with the people that created this thing, to work alongside them and solve problems that is able to freaking impact the entire world, right? I'm talking about scales that's astronomical, right? So much of websites to this day are being hosted on AWS, on the cloud, and AWS being the leading cloud platform in the world is like, dude, the thought just came in my head. Imagine if you were able to work with them. And that little thought drove me. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is where I would want to be. This is where I would want to get to sometime in my career, right? So I did so many different things. I strategically placed everything I was doing, my experience, the jobs I was doing, the projects I was doing, the certifications I was doing, the people I was networking with, was strategic to put me in a good position to sometime in the future, maybe just have the opportunity to interview at AWS, right? And it's crazy, like, we're at this point where I freaking got an offer. It's insane. Now, I know there's a lot of opinions on Amazon, right? People may be saying, oh, why are you going to Amazon? Have you heard about the stories? I'm like, yes, I've heard about the stories. I've done my homework. I know Amazon. Like, I've strategically and studied Amazon for about 2 years to place myself in the position just to be able to interview and show them my skills and my experience to be able to join the organization. Like, I've interviewed over 400 Amazonians. I'm talking about coffee chats. I've talked to them about their experience at Amazon. I've talked to other people who have left Amazon, and I've networked with over 1,500 Amazonians. Like I've done my research, I've done my homework, people. So you can say your opinions, but trust me, everything I've done is very calculated. There is a method to this madness that you think is madness, actually. Like, it's so crazy because I would speak to some Amazonians on some coffee chats. And I'll be telling them things and they're like, oh, dude, you know more about Amazon than I do. And I'll be like, how do you not know this? I'm like, actually, they'd be like, they just don't know. But somebody else told me this, and I also researched it and I found it. And I also remember in the interview, like, I said something that apparently wowed them, because the person was like, how do you know that? And I was like, my response was that, you think this is a game? Like, I've done my homework to get here. Like, this interview right here, I've prepared my entire career. I mean, it's only been 1.5 years in cloud, right? But I prepared myself for this one interview. So the things I'm telling you is not off the rip that I just started last week. No, I've been interviewing people and talking about Amazon for the past 2 years. So when I'm saying these things, like, I know inside information, like, I've spoken to people. And what's so crazy, like, they have something called the Amazon leadership principles. These are principles that govern the culture, the way they speak, the way they act, the way they make decisions in Amazon, right? To prepare myself for just the interview and living the life of an Amazonian, I've been incorporating those leadership principles in my roles as a cloud engineer over the years. And also in my day-to-day, things like diving deep, thinking big. I mean, this is things that I've been incorporating in my day-to-day. Like, even if you don't want to work for Amazon, just check out their leadership principles. Those, if you live and breathe and try and at least apply some of that to your day-to-day, like, you'll be on a good path to help you succeed. So this Amazonian thing is nothing new. And, like, just to let you know, like, if I was to listen to other people's opinions, whether good and bad, like, just blindly follow them, I would not be where I'm at today, right? Getting an offer from Amazon. Because do you know how crazy I looked when I was studying day and night to become a cloud engineer as a professional athlete? And people are looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're pro athlete, like what are you studying for? And in my brain, I couldn't explain to them and show them the vision that I had to explain to them, like, listen, I know it looks like I'm trying to do the impossible, but I see the vision that God has given me, and the impossible is possible. I am on the journey. It looks foolish right now. You don't even know what I'm doing, but I promise you something is going to happen. And then I landed my first cloud job, and then we fast forward until now. So people's opinions are great to get advice, get information, right? But you also don't blindly follow them, right? You take it as data points, as understandings of what could not be, what's possible for you and what's not. And then you hedge your risks, right? You know what you're going into, and you know how to manage that and maneuver around that. So I'm not stupid. Like, I know what I'm getting myself into. And this is an opportunity that I've prepared myself for. Okay, so anything that comes along the way, right? 5-day RTO, listen, I understand it. I've weighed all the risk, not just risk, I've weighed everything that comes into joining Amazon. And for those who are like, oh, 5-day RTO, I'm just telling you that I'm gonna reply to you with this. The way how I see it is, sometimes the things you want the most, you have to sacrifice more. Okay? Now, you may look at me and be like, well, you can get another job that's fully remote. But the thing is, this is what I want, okay? And I'm willing to sacrifice that. I've spoken to my family. I've spoken to my wife, right? I got the okay from the wife. Once you have the okay for the wife, you're good, right? And this is what we want. And this is what we decided to do. So whatever decisions you want to do, right? That's okay. But this is what we decided to do. Now, I have to live with that decision no matter what comes with it. But I am extremely optimistic, because we do not live by what's the worst that could happen, because that's living out of fear. We live by what's the best that could happen, because that's living out of faith, right? That fake lifestyle. So your boys at Amazon, like it's crazy. And when it comes to comments from other people, you go online, you see a bunch of stuff, especially with the interview stuff. Like I've heard so much and I've read so much about how rigorous it is, how crazy it is, how complex it is, how they drill you with questions over and over, how you did the entire interview and then you failed, nobody gave you feedback. And it's crazy because my experience was completely different. Like my interview experience, yes, it was rigorous. Yes, you had to prepare. My interview was 7 weeks long. From the time I got the initial contact with the recruiter to the time I got the offer. Actually, it was 8 weeks, right? Because it was a week after the last interview before I got the offer. It was 8 weeks long. The first interview was the screening call with the recruiter. Second interview, well, not interview, second round was online assessment. Then when you pass that, then you go into the phone screen. This phone screen was with a senior employee in that same role which you're interviewing for, who has been, doing the role for them. They interview for 1 hour. That's the third round, right? Once you pass that, then you go to the final round. They call it the loop because the final round is not just one round. The final round can be anywhere from 3 to 7 rounds in one day, one sitting. Back to back. When I say 7 rounds, right, it's 7 hours. Each round is 1 hour. So for me, my final round was 4 hours. It was 4 individual 1 hour interviews, and it was back to back to back to back to back, right? With different people. It was 4 different people. And between the third round to the fourth round, there was about a 2.5 week break, right, for me to actually prepare for the interview. My recruiter was so great. He gave me enough information to prepare for each round, right? He told me what to expect. He told me which leadership principles to prepare for. He told me what are the type of questions that might actually come for a specific round. Who was the person you might be interviewing with? I got enough information to succeed of each round where I didn't have to guess what I might get. So all I had to do was prepare and execute. That's it. There was no question marks in my mind of, what's going to happen? I got everything I need. My recruiter literally coached me through the process. And so that's the difference between Amazon and a lot of organizations. The individual interviews with the actual people, it was different because when they asked me questions, it felt like their purpose was to help me succeed. They weren't trying to trip me up. They weren't trying to ask me confusing questions or questions to find out where I trip up at, right? Something to try and trick me. No. It was mainly trying to find out, what do you know? What is your strengths? Let's dive into what your experience is and what you actually know. The stuff you don't know, they would rather tell you and say, listen, if you don't know something, just let us know. We'll skip it. Let's focus on the things that you do know so we can get information and data to make a decision on whether you're an Amazonian and you're fit for the role. And that entire process, even though it was long, it was daunting, it was mentally stressful to prepare because you don't know what's coming, right? You still have a lot of stuff in your head, you're uncertain. But exactly what the recruiter was telling me was exactly what happened. Man, these people were so cool and so chill. They would ask you a question, and if there's a specific answer they're looking for, to prevent you from going the wrong way and just keep talking this way, they would just ask another question to kind of, verge you back to what they want, right? And I felt like that was really helpful for both of us. We get the most out of our time. I'm not spending time trying to go some other way that's not beneficial to the information you're trying to get. So I think it was a two-way street. I literally felt like they treated me as the customer and they were trying to help me succeed, right? They brought out the best in me in the interview. As daunting as it was, I think the experience itself was a really good one, right? So this is for anyone who has heard so many different things. Now, I'm not saying that what people have experienced is not true. What I'm saying is that wasn't my experience, right? So that goes to show you and to tell you that not everything you read and you see, not everybody else's experience is going to be the same for you. Sometimes you have to experience stuff for yourself. And this is me experiencing Amazon for myself. But listen, I'm going to leave you all with this, right? I believe no role, no organization, no job is the destination. Meaning that my journey and my career is fluid. We don't end. right? We're here to experience and get the best out of each experience, right? I'm at Amazon now and I'm going to get the best out of it. I'm going to give my all, and I'm definitely going to try my hand to kill this role as much as I could and live with the decisions that I make, whatever comes with it. All right. So if you've been following me all this time, I appreciate you. If you've been cheering for me, I appreciate you. If you've been hating on me, I appreciate you too. I'm going to be talking about this journey on this YouTube channel, REXTECH, where we share the good news of the cloud. Your boy is here. Like and subscribe so you can follow along on this weird, peculiar, special journey at Amazon from a self-taught cloud engineer.